Good afternoon from Ottawa, everyone. Welcome to our momentous event. I will not take long this time, but I will give you a bit of a talk later on. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to be celebrating something that probably will never happen again. And with that, I pass it on to Jason, who will give us the housekeeping rules. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Vicken. Just for everybody's awareness and to keep us in good order here this morning, we do have a couple housekeeping rules. If you do get disconnected from our call today, please just use the link, rejoin, and I will let you in as you appear on my screen. For the convenience of everybody and bandwidth, I would ask that if you're not part of the presentation here this morning, please mute your microphone as well as turn off your video. You can see both of those controls in the bottom left-hand corner. It just ensures that we have enough bandwidth for the people who might live in rural Ontario or Canada. And it keeps our live stream over here for the video to the people who are actually doing the presenting. There may be technical difficulty at some point during this, and none of us are IT consultants who are running this Zoom today, so please bear with us if we have any issues. We'll deal with them. We try to help and band-aid the system as much as we can from our homes here while we're going. You will have noticed at the beginning of this, there was an announcement that this is a recorded presentation. It'll be used for internal use. So we are recording it. And I will say that after the formal portion is done, it's been customary in the past while that folks have stayed on after for some social time. So you don't have to run away as soon as we're done. You are more than welcome to stay around and chat with whoever sticks around. With that being said, this afternoon we have two parts that are proceeding with. The first is the signing of a ceremonial scroll of congratulations to Her Majesty the Queen on her Platinum Jubilee. And then following that, our esteemed president has graciously said that he will give us a short talk on heraldry and the crown. So we kind of have two things to accomplish in a short amount of time. As chair of the Platinum Jubilee Committee for the Heraldry Society, we have a number of initiatives that are running this year. And the first to kind of kick it off today was the creating of a ceremonial scroll of thanks. This is the third one that the Society has given to the Queen. We gave her one for her 50th, one for her 60th, and this one is for her 70th. Normally this would be done in person and we would be able to all see the scroll and you would see everybody sign it. However, this year we've had to get extremely creative in the way that we were able to do this. The Jubilee Platinum Committee has met periodically throughout the year in the lead up to this to do a number of planning, some of which has been squashed by COVID. So a number of our events will not take place. But the scroll is one of the ones that will take place. And I want to thank Alan Allo for the design of it. I will be flashing it up here as soon as it is signed so everybody can see it. But I can tell you that the border has a number of different flowers that are in it. The Pacific Dogwood for the BC Yukon branch, the Wild Rose, the Western Red Lily, and the Prairie Crocus for the Prairie branch, the White Trillium for the Toronto branch, and the Ottawa Valley branch, the Blue Flag Lily for the Laurentian branch, and the Pink Grandifloria Rose for Her Majesty the Queen. Additionally, the Society's arms is on it and also the badges of all of the branches. At this time, I will ask our secretary to please read the wording of the scroll.
Good day, everyone. Your Majesty, the President, Board of Directors, and members of the Royal Heraldry Society of Canada send loyal greetings to Your Majesty, Queen of Canada. Our society joins the congregation of your loyal subjects in the joyous celebration of Your Majesty's unprecedented Platinum Jubilee. We convey our humble congratulations and heartfelt gratitude in recognition of Your Majesty's monumental achievement, and I count ourselves most fortunate to remain the beneficiary of your continued leadership, wisdom, and indispensable support. Signed, 6th February 2022, by the officers of the Society.
Thank you, Steve. I would now ask that the executive officers please turn on their cameras and join me in officially signing the ceremonial scroll. You should now all see before you the ceremonial scroll that is being presented to Her Majesty the Queen. It has been signed by, magically, it was just signed by all the executive members of the Society, and it is on its way off to Her Majesty the Queen. So you'll notice that the border has a number of different flowers on it. The badge of the Society is in the corner, and at the two ends of the border are the roses. And then this certificate was also translated by our French language committee so that it appears in both official languages of Canada. And I would like to say a special thanks to everybody who was involved in the producing of this certificate, of mailing it around the country so that it could be signed and we could get it all done. It was the most unconventional method of being able to put it together. With that, we also have a short clip video here that I'm going to share with you before we turn it over to Vicken. Let me just make sure I can make this happen for you. I guess before I give it over to Vicken, again, I want to thank all those who were involved in putting that scroll together. Alan did a tremendous job in producing that for us and editing it. And there was a lot of hard work put in by a core set of individuals to make that possible. And with that, I will now turn it over to our president, Vicken, for his talk.
Well, today is definitely a momentous day. This is the first time in known history that a monarch has been on the throne for 70 years. Who would have known? Princess Elizabeth, the daughter of the second son of King George V, that she would become our queen, our sovereign, our head of state. The vagaries of England of the 1930s were shock and surprise to all, and yet here we all are, celebrating a unique event. Our queen has been 70 years on the throne. From the time our queen ascended the throne until 1988, any Canadian who wished to have arms granted had to go through either the College of Arms in London or to our friend Lord Lyon, who's with us today, in Edinburgh. So in addition to celebrating her 70 years on our throne, we also want to celebrate that back in 1988, Her Majesty gave Canada's Governor General of the day, Her Excellency the Right Honourable Jeanne Sauvé, the authority to exercise Her Majesty's powers related to heraldry in Canada. This means that our country is the first and so far the only realm to receive such an authority. As many of you may know well, this was one of the key objectives of our society. And wow, how happy we were when that happened. Over the years, we have built excellent relationships with the Crown's representatives, her Governors General, and just as important, with the staff at the Canadian Heraldic Authority. Our support for the authority has been acknowledged in many, many ways, and we intend to continue supporting them in any way we can. That support was in a way reciprocated when in 2004, the Society was granted royal designation and we were authorized to augment our own arms with a royal crown and supporters. Just to remind everyone, the Society's initial arms were granted by the College of Arms in London in 1972. And then they were registered in Canada in 1991, which is 3 years after the authority was formally created. And then, as I said, in 2004, we received the royal designation and the supporters. On the matter of royals, of all our monarchs, we have had two extraordinary women as our sovereigns who have reigned the longest over us. Remember that since the establishment of the Dominion in Canada in 1867, all the men combined, so Edward VII, George V, Edward VIII, and George VI, were our sovereigns for a grand total of 51 years. But Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth have got them beat by a combined length of 104 years. Queen Victoria for 34 years from 1867 to 1901. Now Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth beats everyone with her 70 years. Not only has Her Majesty been our longest reigning sovereign, and as we saw on the clip, she's the one who's visited us the most, 22 times by account. So she knows Canada like few others do, having crisscrossed it so many times. And throughout the reign of Her Majesty, we have seen the magnificent evolution of Canadian heraldry, where, bit by bit, the different symbols and the designs dear to our diverse population, be they Indigenous, native-born, established, or recent immigrants, have found their way more and more into the wonderful world of Canadian heraldry. At last count, there are about 6,000 elements granted, of which arms count for 2,400, badges around 1,500, and flags making up another 1,000. And who knows how many more are in the queue waiting for their file to be completed before being approved. You're all wondering about celebrations. Sadly, COVID has had an unwelcome impact on the various plans to commemorate this momentous event. Obviously, here in Canada, we were not likely to have much activity since February, especially in the nation's capital, where Parliament and Rideau Hall are located. It's not a time where outdoor events are regularly held, unless, of course, you're skating on the Rideau Canal. It's -12 today, by the way, just so you know. Based on all we have known from past events, it is more than likely that things could happen, COVID permitting, later in the spring, if not during the summer. Last week, somebody asked me if there might be a royal visit, and I replied, I simply have no idea what my tea leaves are telling me on that front. But why not? It could. especially if COVID and all the other stars are well aligned. Let's see what comes about in the next little while. I found out today that a special flag and a special pin have been designed, and we just got some illustrations of what designs look like. So we will see what we can do about getting some. And also, I heard from Canada Post that a special stamp is in the process of being designed. So that's wonderful. For those of you who may be interested in reading up some more on the Crown, you might want to check the website of the Institute of the Study of the Crown in Canada, a like-minded organization. You'll find various scholarly and very accessible articles on various aspects of the Crown. Speaking of the proclamations we just signed, there will be sent to 3 places. The first obviously has gone to London, to Buckingham Palace, to our Queen. I gather it left on Friday, so that's great. The second one will go to Rideau Hall, so our Governor General sees that we, the Royal Heraldry Society of Canada, have expressed our thanks and deep appreciation to our sovereign. The third and last one will go to Carleton University, where the Society of Archives have had their place there for the last 2 or 3 years. We hope that when the next AGM takes place, hopefully in Ottawa, hopefully in 2023, we can show that document to all the participants. For those who may not have remembered, 2023 is also the 35th anniversary of the Canadian Heraldic Authority. So definitely a grand celebration is in order. I'd like to read the statement that the Prime Minister issued today on the Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty. 70 years ago today, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II acceded to the throne and became Queen of Canada. On this anniversary, I join millions of people in Canada and across the Commonwealth in congratulating Her Majesty on her Platinum Jubilee. This is the first time since Confederation that Canadians can celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of their sovereign. This historic milestone invites us to pay tribute to Her Majesty's lifetime of committed service to Canada, the Commonwealth, and its citizens. Over the course of her reign, Her Majesty has been a constant presence in the life of Canadians, offering steadfast leadership in time of change, hardship, or uncertainty. She has shared in some of the proudest and most memorable moments in our recent history, from the celebration of the 100th anniversary of Confederation in 1967, to the Montreal Olympics of 1976, and to the proclamation of the Constitution Act in 1982. Her Majesty is the patron of more than 600 charities and organizations, including 36 in Canada. To this day, she continues to show our country her devotion and generosity, and to champion our most cherished values of unity, peace, and freedom. To mark this very special occasion and celebrate Canadian achievements over the past 70 years, the Government of Canada will host a range of activities throughout the year and support community projects and initiatives across the country. I invite all Canadians to take part in these celebrations while continuing to follow public health guidelines and to reflect on our unique bond with the monarchy and the many special moments we have shared with Her Majesty. On behalf of all Canadians, Sophie and I offer our warmest wishes to Her Majesty on the occasion of her 70 years of reign, and we thank her for her tireless service and dedication as sovereign. That's the end of the statement from the Prime Minister. In closing, I'd like to say a special thanks to Jason and his team for putting this project together and organizing today's event. And thanks to you all who took the time to participate in what is likely never going to happen ever again, celebrating a sovereign who has been on the throne for 70 years. For her many, many years of service, for agreeing that Canada may grant arms, and for the many times she came to visit us, we thank her from the bottom of our hearts and wish her many, many more years to reign over us. Thank you, merci, miigwech.
Thank you, Vicken. That concludes the formal part. However, before we break here, 2 things. I'm going to ask the secretary if he has any announcements. And then just as we're closing off on this, I will once again share the certificate with my screen. And if people want to take a picture or look at it in a little more detail, I'll leave it up for a couple minutes before we get into social time. Steve, do you have any announcements?
Yes, thanks, Jay. I have a few. Just for those of you who haven't renewed for the year, please do so. We're also asking that anyone that wishes to write articles for Gonfanon or Heraldry in Canada to contact our editor, John Neal. He's always welcoming articles for publication. The tax receipts for Canadian residents will be starting to go out this coming Friday, February the 11th. And we just received them, so they're going out starting on Friday. Just to reiterate what Vicken said, I mailed the scroll to the Queen on Friday, so she should receive it this coming week. And the last announcement to make is that the Society will hold its annual general meeting on May the 28th. It will be a virtual meeting, unfortunately, again, simply because of the pandemic. And so we are going to plan some events around the meeting on that. So it is Saturday, the 28th of May, for the Society's annual general meeting. If anybody has any questions for me, I would encourage you just to email me at secretary@heraldry.ca, and I'll answer any of your questions. Thank you, Jay.
Vicken, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that if you are wishing to nominate any of our members for a society award, the Honors and Awards Committee would like to receive them before April 1st. So they have enough time to review them and make their recommendations to the board for acceptance. Thank you all.
Well, thank you, everyone. As I said, I will share my screen here with the Society's certificate for a couple moments. And then after that, those who want to stay around, you're more than welcome to. Nicholas Brown, did you have a question? I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask if I can shamelessly plug the Canada's Volunteer Awards again. If anyone wants to or knows of an organization or an individual who they believe may be worthy to be nominated, nominations for the 2021 awards close on March 4th. And all the information is available on the Government of Canada's website. If just search for Canada's Volunteer Awards.
Thank you, Nicholas. That's good to know.
So there again is the certificate for anybody who wants a photo of it. With that, we are finished. And I thank everybody for attending our virtual meeting today. It makes it much better of a ceremony when we have a large crowd, and we had about 70 people out today, so that's wonderful.
Again, thanks to everyone for taking the time to join us. Thank you and hope to see you in the near future.